YouTube. How y'all doing out there? I hope you all are having a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Did I say that right?
No.
Okay, I said that wrong. Let me start over. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope y'all doing good out there, man. I hope y'all doing real good out there. I got the most special guest that I can have on our standard with me tonight, and that's the queen of the house, Miss Cindy Murrows. Chief Murrows. Now I called Chief Murrows up here because I want to talk about It Takes a Village and just have a conversation with her. Maybe she can share some insight, some thoughts, share some ideas about, the whole idea of it takes a village. And so I was thinking about this because I'm always concerned about the community, concerned about young people growing and developing and being successful, reaching their full potential. There's so much going on in our community, so much change that is going on, and it's like, can we keep pace? Can we get to a place to where the village is still around to aid and assist young people with growth and development, or do we not need the village anymore? So we're gonna have a discussion. Hey Pat, how you doing? How you doing, Miss Pat? So I'm gonna read this what many call an African proverb. It takes a village to raise a child is an African proverb, which means an entire community of people must provide for and interact positively with children, for those children to experience and grow in a safe and healthy manner. And two of the key words in that definition was provide for and interact positively with children in the community for them to have the best experience and grow in a safe and healthy environment. And so if we looked at the landscape, so Miss Pat says we do need a village. I may bring you in, Miss Pat, shortly to make a comment on that, to just see what your thoughts are. So if you think about communities, right? If you think about the area that you live in, and you ask yourself, like, why am I in this area I'm living in? What caused me to live where I'm living at? What decisions go into me identifying where I want to live at? So we're going to discuss that right quick. I'm going to ask my wife, based on the geographical area that we live in, we ain't gonna give our address out, but like, what factors did we consider when we moved in the neighborhood that we moved
in? I think we wanted to be in a community that was diverse. So for a lot of you all, know that I've been in the Air Force for 22 years. And our son is 9 years old. And so up until maybe a year ago, every class Jacob was in, he was the only African-American kid, right? And he started to come home and have conversations with us in regards to his hair. You remember that, babe? Mm-hmm. Where he wanted to change his hair. Mm-hmm. He didn't understand why his hair was different from all his other friends. Mm-hmm. Because he was the only African-American kid. And so he started to question himself, because he just didn't see a lot of kids in his class like him. And so one of our conversations, I know, was that we wanted to live in a diverse neighborhood so that Jacob would start to see other kids that look like him, because we think it's important to have a visual. Another one, we wanted to make sure that we were in a neighborhood with kids. So we just moved from New Mexico.
Yeah.
And we lived in a retired neighborhood, right? Like, everyone was retired.
Yes.
Jacob was the only kid.
Yeah.
And so what did that mean? That meant that me and Josh had to be playing all the time. doing everything, which you all saw when I was in Turkey, that they did a lot of Nerf guns and YouTubing and everything to keep them entertained. So we wanted to be in a neighborhood that had kids. What was some other things we thought about?
Just a community to where it's safe, like-minded people, you know, and having a community of like-minded people. Again, it's that village concept. Like, do you want to be around people who are sort of like you, not the whole community like you and think like you, but diverse enough to where there's some commonality that can help you grow, help your children grow, and your child can get different experiences from the people in the neighborhood. Friendly environment to where your child get to experience different things, different family dynamics, different different styles, the way people approach life, the way people interact with their children. And just to talk about something, when I was growing up, the people in the community, right, because the village feel like family, the people in the community when I was growing up, the definition said the entire community of people must provide for. I could go down to my friend's house and I could eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, 4-course meal without, without feeling like, I was eating too much or anything. Their house was my house was their house. If I needed some money, different people in the neighborhood would provide opportunity for us to do some work, mow lawns, rake leaves. Most of the men in my community were entrepreneurs, and so they had businesses. And so in the summer, we had opportunities to go work and make money. We didn't have to work at fast food. And so this is what that definition was talking about when it said provide for. Like, what opportunities is the village providing for young people to allow them to see something that's bigger than what's going on in the community that's negative? And then the flip side of that definition said, and we must interact positively. We must interact positively. So not only what opportunities are we providing, but how are we interacting? Are we sitting on the corner drinking with them, smoking with them? I ain't got nothing against drinking and smoking if that's what you do. But even if that's what you're doing, like when I was growing up, we did that. But them old cats that I was on the corner with, under them trees with, was like, listen, you need to do this, you need to do this, and you need to do that. And so it was still some motivation going on there. It wasn't just like, go rob somebody, go steal something. You know what I'm saying? Because they weren't doing that either. They were just drinking and smoking and having fun, but they had worked all day. They were still in their uniform, shirt unbuttoned, and they just sitting under the tree chilling. So it still was some positivity in that, even though, we probably shouldn't have been drinking with them adults, but it was still some positive. They were still my village. You know what I'm saying? They were still my village, and they safeguarded me and they kept me safe, even though we were not doing the right things all the time. It was something they were like, listen, Josh, no, you can't, you ain't gonna, no, we good. You stay at home because we don't even want you exposed to anything like this because you got a future. We know you're gonna do better. We hoping you do better so that you can help all of us, because we done about ran our race, We done about ran our race to finish our journey. So it's like, what is the community doing now? What is the village doing now to be able to impart that wisdom in the young people? James Taylor, old wisdom. It was old wisdom that really kept us. It saved us. And I think about, when I go home and visit Mr. Marshall down the road from me, Mr. Fluker right up the road from me. Some have passed, but they always provided opportunities. And, we shot ball at their house, and, they made sure we were safe. We ate, we had everything that we need in our village. And so, my question is still, like, is the village needed? I think, let me ask you this, Cindy. Why is it that you feel like in today's time we don't have that village? And you can ask questions in the chat too. We'll try to see those. and I may bring some of y'all in. Why do you feel like the village today does not look like or is not as active as that village we just spoke of?
I think there's just, we've been talking about this recently. It's just there's so much division that is actually, it's really sad. I think back to when I was coming up. I remember my teacher, Miss Anita Holder. She's a retired school teacher, but she just went back into the system. Shout out to Miss Holder. She was very impactful. Why? She disciplined us at school. She would call our parents and tell our parents that she disciplined us. But then she was also very loving. She would hug on us. She would kiss us. She would let us do her hair. And so back then, we didn't feel like there was a divide. We felt like we were cared about at school and we were cared about at home. But now there's just so much division. There's so much on TV that's causing a division where our kids, I think, are starting to feel the impact of it. Prime example, we had a situation about 3 weeks ago. And this goes to show you no neighborhood is perfect, right? It happened right here in our neighborhood. And we live in I would say a great neighborhood where a situation happened and this lady, you would have thought that my son was 18 years old, the way she dealt with the situation, right? And so it makes you very sad to know that an adult will look at a 9-year-old and think that 9-year-old is an enemy of theirs. That shows you that this lady did not have village in her mindset. Like she didn't look at my kid as, you know what, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to handle this situation. I'm going to treat you like you're my son in this given situation. You would have thought that my son was the enemy, the way she dealt with the situation. And so thank God in that particular situation, I had some self-control and I was able to de-escalate the situation. And at the end, it came to my son wasn't the son. My son didn't even do anything she said. He wasn't even the person that did any of the things she said. It came down to she didn't even hear him say anything and didn't see him say anything, right, Josh?
Yeah.
But she was on 20, and you would have thought my son was 18 years old the way she dealt with the situation. Come to find out, she didn't hear him say anything and didn't see him say anything. And so I think in that given situation, if she would have looked at my son, who was a different color than her, as another one of her little kids, then she would have dealt with that situation different, right?
Yeah.
It makes, I think when we look at each other as villages, we deal with situations different.
Yeah, you definitely dealt with that situation different than I would have dealt with her, because I wouldn't have had no self-control for her. Because everybody don't need self-control. She needed a dose of like Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's what she needed, and that's what I would have gave her. But it's like Cindy said, division, and I think the system had its hand in the Great Divide, not only the racial divide, but the economic divide, the cultural divide. And even in our own culture, we're so divided within our culture. And so it's just crazy how fear has caused us to take steps back. And James Taylor put a great point in there. He said old heads taught kids how to look out for threats like drugs, gang violence that were thrown at kids every day in our own community. And that is true. That's what I try to educate my son on or anyone on. And I'm not afraid of kids. Like, I understand. I think people are just so afraid. They like, I don't want nothing to do with it. I'm not saying nothing to that boy. I'm not saying nothing to them girls. That I'm not doing it. They may have a gun. They may shoot. I get it. They may do. Listen, it's real. I'm not telling you that you should be out there in a situation you should be in. I do. Even when I was working probation, I know, listen, man, this was a 911 type of situation. I'm going back to the courthouse. This is right here, 911. So you got to know the difference. It's some 911 situations out there and not job situations, but 911. You got to know the difference. But I'm going to tell you something. We was in a McDonald's in the hood. and this guy came in, and he looked like me, but his lifestyle wasn't like mine. But when he looked at me and he looked at my family, he adjusted his appearance because he was finna walk in front of us. When it comes to energy, when it comes to male strength, it's in your character. It's in your energy, how you treat people. Young men and women know when somebody is trying to play them, when somebody is trying to undervalue them. They smell that energy. They see that when you come. I've been in many situations where kids come in, ain't doing it, they'll get it right for just a minute because they can look at me and tell, like, that's a real one. Like, he got our best interests at hand. Like, he would probably pull us to the side and talk to us. What's up, Minister Presley, man? God bless you. I've been in many situations like that, even with people don't look like me. My Caucasian, I used to have my tracking partner when I worked probation. She was a white female, great, had my back. I trust her in any situation. And we were in the store one day, and there was a group of kids came in there. And so when we walked in, they energy changed, and it's like they pulled themselves together because they could recognize who was in their presence, but I also recognize who was in my presence. And so we can't fear our community and be a village. The village gonna burn itself down if we fear the village that we in and who's in the village. You know, I'm not telling you to go out there and put yourself in a situation that you're not prepared for. But if we're gonna take the back seat, then we can expect these outcomes that we're seeing with our children, who we say are our future, to continue. And we have to start finding ways to invest in our children and provide for our children. You know, when the last time were you in McDonald's, you seen some kids and you said, listen, y'all keep that money in your pocket. I'm gonna buy this meal. This meal on me. You know, we have to start back re-engaging our communities, especially the young people, to get some buy-in, because there's a disconnect. It's a big disconnect. And that great divide that we were just talking about, that's what caused the disconnect. You know, that's what caused the disconnect. Where they learned to be violent from? The ones that were present when the disconnect happened. When I looked across the road on the other side to see, it was nobody over there. But on the side where I was standing, the violent ones, they were there. And so I learned how to be violent because nobody was on the other side of the street. You see what I'm saying? It was not safe for me to cross the road and go over there. Wasn't nobody over there. So now I'm left in this village with the people that are here. They violent. So guess what? Now I'm violent, and I'm prone to be violent. So what do you expect from me? That's the child. That's the little child that's sitting in their room thinking about the principal done labeled them. Nobody's there for them. And all they saying is, what y'all expect me to be? When everybody around me is violent. Mm-hmm. When I look across the street, ain't nobody over there. My probation officer don't look like me. I can't trust them. The teachers don't look like me. I can't trust them. The pastor be lying. Can't trust them either. I seen them around the corner the other day at little Susie house, little Johnny house, trying to get them something too. So what am I supposed to do? I can't walk to the YMCA. It's too dangerous. It's on the other side of town. My school run down. You know, they got guns in the school, metal detectors in the school. Yeah, what y'all want me to do? It takes a village. We have to get our villages back. We have to get our village. Let me read some comments. Minister Preston, you got something to say? Come on, Reverend. Come on, Reverend. Come on, Reverend. James Taylor said, we have to teach our kids to be aware of people in this world and what motivates them. It is not enough to just be responsible and respectful. Come on, teach and preach right there. Be a voice and be aware so they can speak for themselves. Listen, we have to teach our kids to be aware of the people in this world and what motivates them. Yeah. Listen, that what motivates them, I'm telling you, listen, that what motivates them is key. That right there sounds so simple, But if I know what motivates Cindy, I can either play into that thing, or I can see when that thing about to switch and be like, hey, man, I'm finna go. My phone just rang. My mama calling me. I gotta go home, man. Cause see what motivates them, if in the turn, hey, when they get around certain people, you see them switching up because that thing hit them, and they start getting that motivation for that negativity, you know. Or if they got a thing with mistreating women, they get around girls, they language switch up, you know. That thing start hitting them. Now they motivated because they want to do what they do around women. We have to teach our young people how to be aware, not to judge people, but to be aware. See, that's different. See, because some of y'all want to take the awareness and you want to beat people up. You want to judge people. The man said be aware, not beat people up and judge people. Being aware is not judging. Am I right, Pastor Taylor? Am I right or am I wrong? Pat Montgomery saying no love being shown. What y'all know about that? True agape, real love. Love is not judgmental, man. And we really have to find a way to get our villages back established in our community. The HOA is up and running. Huh? The HOA up and running. They tell you how to run your yard, how to plant your flowers in your yard, what you can and can't have in your yard. But we can't be a village. And the HOA running. They village, right? We have to figure out how to be the village again. And we got to stop the divide. Look at everything in your life and say, okay, what is divided? The church is divided. The schools are divided. The government divided. What's not divided? It is the divide that's killed us. Black market is real. We don't want that for our kids. No. The great divide. Everything is divided. We have to figure out how we can get away from this great divide that's tearing our communities down, that's tearing our kids down. And we got to figure out how not to be so afraid of our young people, but to engage the ones that you can, because the people that I'm meant to engage are not the ones that Cindy meant to engage. Because the ones that I'm gonna engage, she's gonna be like, listen, let's go. Come on, get them comfortable. I mean, just let's be honest now. Everybody ain't meant to engage everybody. So that's right. You ain't grateful. So if you ain't grateful, don't go there mess with them kids. Them kids will kill you. 13, 14, 15 years old will blow your brains out. But even with that said, we have to figure out how to get our villages back and get the village back going, because it does take a village. But again, it's the aspects of the village. It's the things within the village that has to be strong. You know, look at the families. You start there. The family village ain't even there. Talk about that.
You know, we were just
don't give a dissertation now. Just talk about it.
I'm not giving a dissertation. I normally do not watch the news, but over the Christmas holidays, I was watching the news, and it's just so depressing. Over the last 2 weeks, I was telling my hubby, I said, you know what, this is just so sad to see so many mothers selling their daughters to men. You don't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to sell my daughter to a man and let him kill her for a small piece of change, right? So I think along with the divide, we as a race, especially the African-American community, you know, we don't believe in this thing called therapy and mental health and all these things. And so we try to shout over all these issues, or we try to church over these issues, or we try to just think we can tuck them away, lock the box, and everything is good. We as a race, and I can only speak for my race because I'm African-American, we as a race have to heal ourselves.
Yeah.
Because what's happening, we're not dealing with these areas, and then we have kids, and that stuff doesn't go away, right? And so now we are grooming to the best of our ability. Well, the best of your ability may not be healthy.
Yeah, come on.
And what you have, to me, I think it's dysfunctional. To you, it's functional.
Listen, the best of a lot of people's ability ain't healthy. You done said a mouthful. I didn't need to be on the billboard. When folk driving to work in the morning, they need to see that the best of your ability is not healthy. Turn around, go back home. That's what need to be on the billboard. Is what the truth is.
And we just got to get to a point where we embrace therapy.
We embrace therapy, help. We embrace internal change.
Okay.
We embrace honesty. We embrace truth, right? You know, to be able to look ourselves in the face and face our shortcomings, face our demons, whatever they are, because ain't none of us perfect. And we all know that. We all know we ain't perfect. So why you running around here trying to be perfect when you know you got to do something different in order to be able to give your son or your daughter the best life that they can live? If your life that they deserve. Yeah. And even if you know your life wasn't all that you wanted it to be,
Jesus,
you should go the extra mile to make sure your son and your daughter, your nieces or your nephews, have a fighting chance, man. James Taylor said, let's lift the standards. That's what this platform, Our Standard, is all about. It's all about talking about the standard. It's all about making people aware of the standard. And when you have standards, you take them with you everywhere you go, and you don't negotiate them. You don't kind of play with those. That's the temperature gauge that's with you at all the times that check you, like the Holy Ghost. Amen. For y'all that know the Holy Ghost, it is a ghost and it's on the inside. Amen. Yay. Hold up. I ain't gonna go there. But yeah, your standards, if you ain't got the Holy Ghost, yeah, you need some standards. Come on now. Ain't that right? If you ain't got the Holy Ghost, you need some standards. And they'll check you. But see, with my Holy Ghost and my standards, I feel like I'm a bad man. I still fall short. But I'm trying. And I want to see my community better. I want to see our young people in safer environments. Because I know ain't nowhere going to be just like, oh my God, this is just so nice. Like, it's a threat everywhere. Everywhere you go, it's a threat. Even in your home, when you're in your home, that's why you got alarms and cameras and stuff, because it's threats everywhere. So we have to, we gotta be aware of that. Ms. Pat said we first have to get the people to own their truth in their wrongdoing. Absolutely.
Yeah. Because
some people doing wrong and they think it's right. And when you so deep in it, Ms. Pat, it's hard for you to see and feel like it's wrong if it's applying your need.
Right. If it's working.
If it's applying your need, what's wrong? How is it wrong?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like,
you see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. It's hard them sweets and all of that. Them sweets supplying your need. It's hard for you to see that ain't good for you because it's supplying your need. Huh? That hamburger. Yeah. That hamburger. What's that?
That's your prayer alarm.
Oh, that's my prayer alarm. Y'all know I got to pray now. Yeah, I got it set. I got to pray. Yeah. I got to pray now. Y'all better stop playing. One brick make a difference. That's why I'm on here now. I ain't got to have 1,000 viewers up here. Listen, I don't care if it's 2 people up here. I'm gonna say what's on my heart, what's on my mind, because it's coming from the right place. And I believe if James and Kawana, Miss Pat, Minister Presley, if we all go out there and do our part and infect people, we can start right there.
James said no place is too small to start.
Yeah, no place is too small to start. And so we got to start having these conversations with our nieces and nephews and kids and you can go out there and coach in sports. Go out there and coach. Hang out. When my child go to the park, I'm out there at the park with them. Ain't no need for these kids to be out there by themselves. So they out there exploring what they done seen on YouTube and Facebook and TikTok. That's what they doing when they get out there by themselves. They exploring what they done seen.
But what's important? I get it. You talked about how some people are fearful of saying something.
Yeah.
But who shouldn't be fearful is the family.
That's right.
Right? So like when we were growing up and my sister's online, our grandmothers would not be afraid to tell you how it is. They would not have no shame in their game to be as blunt as they want to be about your wrongness. They would point your wrongness out. So I get it. Some people are afraid of these kids and don't want to say anything, but at least the blood, right? The connected family members should be pointing out the wrongness.
Yeah, our grandmas and big mamas are old. They have no problem telling everybody how it was.
Yeah.
But you're right, you know, and that's why I said the divide in the family. The family village is not what it should be. And we should definitely start there to be able to bring a change in thought, a change in psyche, the way that people think, view things, perceive things. All of that needs to be changed and restructured, especially with the world moving at such a rapid pace. We can't use the old model to address the young children today. It's aspects of it we can use, it's strengths that we can pull from it, but so much has changed. It's going to ill-equip them moving forward, and so we have to give them what is necessary to prepare them and equip them for a world that we may not see, or a world that we don't care to engage in, i.e., all the technological stuff that they're involved with. You definitely got to lead with kindness and truth. Absolutely, it's a way how you speak to them. Yes, it's definitely a way that you talk to them, communicate with them. It's about your energy, your body posture. All of that makes a difference when you're talking to young people, because if they feel like you're a threat, or if they feel like you're talking down to them, they don't have no respect to person. See, in the old days, adults could talk to kids any kind of way, and they wouldn't nothing be said, because it's just the respect level that we had back then for adults. But now these kids ain't no respect like that, man. They'll jump on you. I mean, you understand what I'm saying? So you got to use a different tactic. We call it verbal judo, to where you just dance with a person with your language. You know, they say something, you can feel how they saying it, and so you just dance with your language, right? And you know, if they get aggressive, you kind of just, you know, you just dance with them. I've done it a many times. You know, dancing with kids when they're aggressive, they're ready to fight. You know, either you're gonna run and be visibly shaken, or you learn how to dance with them and pull them back on your side. And so you definitely got to be calm, reserved, and you got to give them the respect that they deserve. And I know that may be hard for some adults, because you feel like just because you are the adult that you deserve that respect. And maybe you should. But however, in the moments when we're talking about bringing change and impacting our community, we got to pull out all the stops to be able to do that, or we're gonna lose terribly. And I know that's not what we want. I know that's not what we want. That's not what we desire for our children. So yeah, if you want to be a part of the village, you got to provide, and you got to positively interact. And you can't interact with somebody you don't get close to, somebody that you're not visible to, somebody that you're not in the presence of. And I think that's the issue. There's the only people that are interacting, again, is the people that's on the same side of the street. What you expect? You know, how can you interact with that community, with that group of people that you feel like need change? Figure it out. You know, are you gonna go to the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club? Are you gonna be a mentor? You know, are you gonna get with your local religious group and say, hey, what can we do? How can we go in the community and you know, set something up? How can we go talk to the police and see if we can, you know, do something in the community to bring some awareness? You know, you're gonna start an after-school program. You know, you're gonna get a baseball team, a basketball team in the community. What are you gonna do? We got to do something. And I think, you know, if we continue to put our heads together, we can figure it out. But we can't keep standing on the other. You know, we ain't even on the other side. We ain't even showed up on the other side of the street. You know, and so we got to get a kid something to look at. There's no visibility. You know, there's no visibility and presence, right? The only presence is those that are on that side, and that's who's visible, right? That's who driving the Dodge Chargers. You know, that's who got the women. You know, that's who got the apartment that's furnished. You know, that's who got the pocket full of money. You know, that's what's visible to them. That's what they can put their hand on. They can't put their hand on the college professor. They can't put their hand on the lawyer, doctor, you know, that look like them. So we got to be visible in our community. And that's why I try to bring people on this platform that are successful in their own right. that look like people that are not typically in those positions, to give everybody hope, because we all need hope. And so that's what we stand for over here. Yes, Vanita, we got to be visible. We got to be visible. We got to be present. And so I want to encourage you all to be visible as much as you can. Again, I'm not telling you to go down there to the 7-Eleven down there on Martin Luther King. I'm not telling you to do that if you're not equipped to be over there. You understand what I'm saying? Don't go over there and get,
You ain't gonna mess with Martin Luther King.
Well, all Martin Luther King, I don't care. You may be on one end, but you keep riding down Martin Luther King, and guess what it's gonna turn into? MLK. Listen, that when you're on Martin Luther King, it may look good, but you keep driving them signs saying, well, they ain't had time to put the whole Martin Luther King up. They just said MLK. You getting into trouble. Listen, the road people ain't even had time to put Martin Luther King on the sign, but they say, listen, when we get in this end of the community, these signs are gonna have MLK on, we're gonna slap them those up, and we getting out of here.
You ain't gonna talk about my community like that.
It's the truth. I ain't never rolled down here. I don't care where you do that. Listen, what? MLK? Y'all be shaming themselves. Supposed to be prestigious, man. You keep riding on there. Yeah, we definitely gotta change that, man. And Aaron, I don't care what city I done been in, man. I'm for real, I done been in some city. You get on MLK, man, you better start locking the door. I think the car locked the doors. That means like the doors just start locking. I think the car be like, no, and so man, right down here, the car doors start locking.
Sad.
It is sad. Yeah, I bet George Bush Expressway ain't like that. Trump Lane. Let me stop on Facebook. You know, put us in jail. We out here trying to do something good for the community. Y'all done got me all the way cutting up in here. Listen, we love y'all over here, and let's get out there and bring hope. Yeah. Let's bring joy. Let's bring laughter to our community, to our young people. I'm gonna be looking to get some young people on the platform this year to kind of get a bird's eye view of what's going on in their mind. Like, get them to tell us where to disconnect at. So it won't be no guessing in it. Like, hey, young man, young woman, like, tell me what you feel like the disconnect is. What did we go wrong? What is it that you all need from us as adults who want to, help you out? And how can we go about doing it? And so be looking out for that. Next week on the 13th at 6:30 Central Time, we're going to be going live from the platform talking about vocational education versus college education. And we're not saying one is better than the other, but we're going to talk about the pros and cons of both, and how our young people maybe can benefit, from one or the other, because it seems as though how fast things are moving, man. By the time and don't strike me down when I say this, but by the time you done spend 4 years in college, man,
things change.
Man,
the world's changing.
Man, it's like you get out, man. It's like, man, like
it's so irrelevant.
Yeah, and I know some people they gonna scream like, ooh. But hey, we gotta have real conversations, to give our young people the best information that they can have to make the best decision possible for their future. And when you make a decision, one of the best things to have is the right information, or at least enough information to be able to make what they call an informed decision. And so that's the kind of conversation we're going to have, so that we can give the people enough information so that they can make an informed decision. But again, thank you all. James Taylor, Miss Pat, you still on here? I'm going to see. Hold on, I'm going to say. James, I know you. Lord, I don't want to stress out Key and send her this invite and she can't get you on, James. I ain't gonna mess with y'all tonight. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. No, I was gonna send Key a link and let her come in. I'm gonna try to send her. Hold on 1 second.
She's not gonna answer that.
I'm gonna send it to you, Miss Pat. Hold on 1 second.
What if they ain't?
You know what?
Come on.
You right, Miss Pat. My wife here, she helped me. She got.
Look at me. He gonna make sure be
listen,
like me.
I would have sent it. But she helped me have balance. I don't think like that. I would have sent that thing. Been coming to your message. But
just got the shot.
Again,
come get on live with me. Come get on live with me.
Next week, on the 13th, we're gonna be up here again. Please, put that on your schedule, on your calendar. We're gonna come back on here and we're gonna have a conversation. It's gonna be a rich conversation. I got like 4 or 5 people that's gonna be on here, just having that discussion. You understand what I'm saying? Miss Pat said she was ready because she stay ready.
Oh. All right, Miss Pat.
Yep. Well, Miss Pat, we're gonna get you round the way on the next go round when we bring the young folks on here. I want people to ask the young folks questions like, what went wrong? What can we do to help? And I want to get some real ones too. I want to get some real ones. Some real young people that, they may have some hanging out their pocket. To have a conversation with us. And get us the information that we need. Because we need some information from them. We need some intelligence from them, to be able to make the right decisions on their behalf. So I'm finna, what we're going to do now, we're going to go sit down. Y'all seen the way she was looking at me. Bye. See how she was looking at me? Pat, it's the season of connection. Y'all take care, man. Peace out.